Hello and happy Friday! So I have been in a 3-day conference. My timer might go off here, but it's a conference on going live on video, and my mind is racing. So right now I don't remember anything we've learned. I'm going to be putting a lot of these best practices in place, and I'm really looking forward to it. One of the things that I've really come to learn as an entrepreneur, that is such a weird word, as an entrepreneur, is that you really have to invest in yourself and in your business. And it's hard sometimes because these programs and these conferences and these mentoring groups and these memberships all cost a lot of money. It's worth it every time, and I'm never the first one to sign up, even though I know I'm going to sign up. So why do I hesitate every time? And I'm like, do I want to spend the money? Do I not want to spend the money? Is it worth it? Do I have to ask all the questions? And then ultimately I end up doing it anyways because I know I want the accountability. But can anybody relate to that? Like you want to sign up for something, you know you do, but you're hesitating because of the money, and then you ultimately do it anyways. And I don't know, it feels kind of scary because you've just spent all this money. And with procrastinating about really spending money on something that you really love to do, but you don't know if it's worth it or if you should do it. And if I want to bring it all back to adoption, which I don't have to all the time, but if I want to bring it back to that, it's, spending the money on what Ashley Mitchell deemed a luxury item, and maybe it is, maybe I agree with her in that, is scary. It's a lot of money. It's thousands of dollars. I mean, this whole adoption journey is thousands and thousands of dollars, and like, where can you cut corners, and what's worth it and what's not worth it, and do I need to pay someone just to support me through this and tell me where to go, where I can just find it all by myself online? That's all part of this. And I have to tell you, every single time I just bit the bullet and did it, and I remember that first time I wrote that $20,000 or $30,000, whatever it was, check during my adoption journey. I was in a different mindset once I started the journey because I knew it was going to cost me a shitload of money. And I was like, okay, it's just money. It's part of the process. If I want to do it, stop getting emotional about it. And somehow I was able to go there in my head. But it's all those extra items and where can you cut corners and all that. But every time I do and I spend the money, writing that check keeps me accountable. And so I'm always glad that I did it. So why the hell do I hesitate every single fucking time? I'm not censoring myself anymore, by the way. So, got kids? Come out of the room. I figure kids aren't listening to this anyways. And one of my mentors said progress, not perfection, and that has rung true to me. It's so funny. You can spend thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for these big, huge whatevers, and you take one little thing, progress, not perfection. That was worth the however many thousands I spent for my very first business mentorship program, because that has really propelled me. You just have to move forward. A lot of money involved in the adoption process, and you have to determine for yourself if you really want something. You might just have to push those feelings aside about money and do it, and just put your all into it. Make it that accountability. Like, you wrote that check. It's like paying for a membership of the gym, at the gym. I had to go when I was a member at the gym because I was paying every single month. I mentioned Ashley Mitchell before. I don't know if anybody follows her or not, but she did this whole long thing about consultants. And I felt all sorts of different ways about it. And I wrote down so many notes from what she said. And I had reactive feelings, and I had feelings of agreement, and I had feelings of disagreement. But we will be going over it as a team because my whole team watched it. She was really giving her viewpoint on what she thought consultants should be doing, adoption consultants, what they should be doing, what they do, whether she thought they were good or bad, or helpful or not helpful, and she kind of dissected everything. And she made some great points, and she is an influencer out there, absolutely, and people glom onto her every word, and I get it. I've been one of those people, and she's one person, and I think that that's so important in the adoption industry. Anyways, we'll be dissecting it in our staff and our team, and also I will be addressing it in our communities more and digging in and really just open up the space for questions around adoption consulting and what we, and remember, so back title, there are lots of people in the adoption world who frankly spend a lot of energy being angry and negative, and oh my God, that would kill me. That would put me in a grave. But and there's people who like to speak for a whole community of people. There's some adoptees who speak their perspective as if they are speaking for all adoptees. There are birth moms who think they're speaking for all birth moms. There are professionals who think they're speaking for all professionals, and everybody is different, and everybody has their own story, and everybody does things differently, and everybody has different incentives. And that's telling me that my conference is starting again. No one person, whether you have 5 followers or 500 million followers, can speak for an entire community of people. But I also, so take it all with a grain of salt. You can learn from every single one of them. You can learn from people who are positive. You can learn from people who are negative. And I encourage us all to do that, because there is so much to learn and challenge. There's so much to challenge, right? There are a lot of agencies out there who I do not agree with a lot of the things that they do. I don't. And yet, if I didn't work with every single one of them, or if I didn't suggest that my clients sign up to work with them, I wouldn't have a business, because there's very few that I think do things really, really well and do all the right things. There are very few, unfortunately. I also understand that adoption is a business, and typically, and I'm in the business of hopefully doing really good things for people, because that's where my heart is. We love on our families so deeply, and we want to guide you in the right ways to make the right decisions for you, knowing what your end goal is, what you're hoping for. And we're keeping that in mind and doing it in the best way that we can. We'll always be as transparent as possible. We'll always answer any questions. I was talking about the business of adoption. Most agencies, most consultants, are owned by one person who are doing what they're doing to provide a really good service, to do the right things, and to make a living for themselves, doing what we're passionate about. I'm not going to hide the fact that that's what I'm doing. I'm a single mom, and this is the career and the path that I have chosen to help so many people, and I hope that I'm doing more good out there than not, and I need to make a living to support my family, and I'm not ashamed of that. And I think most, if not all of our families would say that they are getting so much value from what they paid us to help guide them. Those are just some really, 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 really minor points that she had touched upon, but also that I think about. These are some of the things that I think about all the time that I don't necessarily talk about because it feels weird and vulnerable, and I know that this whole idea of monetizing on adoption, and you can narrow that down and peel all the layers and make it as icky as you want to or not. And so anyways, I am going to start talking about these things more, because if I don't, it's because I feel some sort of shame. And even if I do, that's okay. It's kind of like, again, relating it back to adoption, it's kind of like with our children, right? What we whisper or don't want to talk about behind closed doors are something that our children think is a secret that they should feel shame about, and it's not. I'm so proud of what I have started and what I am doing. And I'm not getting defensive. I'm just saying that I'm just saying it out in the open. Yeah, I know we are we have some of the highest fees out there. I know that. And I'm proud of that because I know the service that we're providing and the level of support that we're giving our families. And families have options. If you want to price shop, you can go price shop. That's totally fine with me. Whatever is important for you. If you're looking for what we provide better than others, then you're going to sign up with us, hopefully. And if you're looking for what, my friends over at another consulting agency are providing, maybe better than we are, then you're going to hopefully sign up with them. And that's okay. That's just how the world that's how the world works. So that's my Friday rant today. If you caught that whole conversation on Instagram, if you have any questions about what a consultant does or how agencies work, ask. Happy to answer. We are as transparent as we can. I will continue to be as raw and vulnerable and open and transparent as I can be. And with that, I'm going to go back and learn. My mind has exploded. There's like 15 speakers a day. Puts my conference to shame, but I'm learning a lot. All right, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. If you're new to us and you're thinking about adoption, this is not for our current families, go check out our free webinar. It is called 3 Strategies to Adopting Your Baby During Challenging Times. Well, look at that. Go check it out. If you're interested in finding out more about our work, you have a couple choices. There's working with us one-on-one privately, and there's working with us in our academy, and maybe I'll talk a little bit about that at a later time. But I got to get back to my conference and continue learning. Love you all. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.